we know that about 1/3 of your brain performance, your memory, is predetermined by genetics. 2/3 is in your control. They say that your genetics will load the gun, but your lifestyle will fire it, right? Kind of makes sense. And it's not like all metaphors, they're not absolute, they're not absolutes, but there's an idea to connect something you don't know to something you know. So going to this, 2/3, I'm gonna give everybody right now the 10 keys as you know it in the book, but I'm gonna show you how to memorize them. But what I liked it to do, whether or not people memorize them or not, and I find that people will be able to do it pretty easily and effortlessly, is at least rate yourself 0 to 10. How much energy and effort and attention are you putting towards this area? Because everyone wants to know the one thing they could do for an incredible memory. There's just not. There's not a magic pill, but there is a process, right? So we'll go through them fast. Number 1, good brain diet. So everyone, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, how much energy, attention, time are you putting towards a good brain diet? So there's certain foods that are very neuroprotective. And I would also say, I'm not a doctor or nutritionist. Everyone's bio-individual. So do allergy testing, do functional medicine testing in terms of microbiome test, nutrient profile, food sensitivity. So everyone's a little different. In general, some of my favorite brain foods, avocados, the monounsaturated fat is good for the brain. Blueberries, I like to call them brain berries, very neuroprotective. Broccoli, good for your brain. Olive oil, good for the brain. If your diet allows, eggs. The choline in eggs is good for your cognitive health. Green leafy vegetables, like kale and spinach. And now again, some people are allergic to kale, so that wouldn't be for you. Another one, I would say wild sardines, or like wild salmon or sardines. Like your brain is mostly fat, so those fish oils. Turmeric is a great brain food, meaning it helps to lower inflammation. You could use that while you're cooking. Walnuts.
Everybody's just waiting for you to say chocolate here,
yeah.
Jim.
There you go. Walnuts and dark chocolate, not milk chocolate. So those are some of the brain foods. So 0 to 10. On the other side, that's not so good, processed, foods, high sugar.
What does it do to the brain? So
sugar is highly addictive, right? You've had guests on here probably talking about how it's more addictive than a lot of drugs, right? There's certain things that are not good for the brain. And again, people like we've had on our podcast or we've interviewed for the book, like people like Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Daniel Amen, sugar, alcohol, marijuana, certain things like alcohol could, some people say they use it to help them sleep, but there's a difference between getting knocked out and actually getting good deep sleep, getting good REM sleep. Sleep is just a personal focus of mine. But sugar is highly addictive, not good. A lot of people are also hyper, the ADHD, the hyper behavior. A lot of times you could eliminate sugar, but in the US schools, it's tough. We've been having vending machines there with all the pop and the sodas and the, and just, yeah. But to get through the list, 0 to 10, how good's your diet? Number 2, and I'll go through these fast, killing ants. Killing ants is actually clinically proven to be good for your brain. Ants, I get this from Dr. Daniel Amen, automatic negative thoughts. Remember we talked about the power of your thoughts and just keeping it, even if you say I don't have a great memory, just add a little word like yet at the end. It just changes, the potentiality of that statement. So in 0 to 10, how encouraging, optimistic are your thoughts and your beliefs? Number 3, in no specific order again, is exercise.
Okay.
There's so much research talking about the power of movement and the brain. When you move, by the way, studies show that when you listen to your podcast, when people are listening to this podcast and they happen to be doing something rhythmic, going for a nice walk with the dogs or on an elliptical, they'll actually understand the information and retain it better. When your body moves, your brain grooves. Just remember that. When your body moves, your brain grooves. When you move your body, you create brain-derived neurotropic factors, BDNF, which is like fertilizer for the brain. It's like fertilizer promoting neuroplasticity. Number 4, brain nutrients. And this is, I always prefer people get it from whole, their own foods. But, again, you could get so much data nowadays. You could do a nutrient profile because if your vitamin D levels are low, you're not going to perform, your brain's not going to perform at its best. If you're not getting your omega-3s, your brain is mostly, made out of fat, your DHAs, your vitamin C, your vitamin Bs.
Everyone comes here and talks to me about Bloody vitamin D and omega-3.
Yeah.
Everybody says the same two things. Supplements work for that, right? Do supplements work for vitamin D?
Quality supplements.
Yeah.
You know, I would, again, prefer people get it from sunlight and prefer people get it from natural sources, like whether they're eating fish or whatever.
Damn, I don't go out in the sunlight enough. I need to fix that.
Yeah, you've had guests talking about the power of sunlight first thing in the morning to reset their circadian rhythm to help them sleep. You know, for me in the morning, I try to get the elements in my life. So I think about thousands of years ago, they thought the 4 elements made everything up that you see. So it's like, you know, in Babylonian times, in Greek times, you know, 4 elements of air, water, fire, and earth. And so, like, I don't know, I take this approach in the morning where you don't have to biohack everything. You can do it for free. Go out there, outside, you know, get some earth, get your feet on the ground, right? Really simple to do, to feel more grounded and more connected. And there's also, and I think, an energetic, and people talk about pulse electromagnetic fields and everything, but I don't know, I feel more grounded when I just walk in the grass. Simple thing people could do. And then I'm thinking about air. I could do my deep breathing, or some people do fire breathing, alpha breathing, Wim Hof breathing, first thing in the morning to clear the cobwebs of the night. And then some water, drink some water or take your cold shower. You get to integrate it, whatever your morning routine is. And then fire is the sunlight for me, you know, first thing in the morning. But I just find that any of the biohacking stuff, and people follow me on Instagram, you know, I have my toys and everything else. They're just to mimic nature, you know, a lot of the times. You know, the red lights and the cold plunges and all that stuff. Nature.
Point number 5 is a clean environment.
Yeah. So after brain nutrients, 0 to 10, rating yourself, 5 is a clean environment, and this is for everything, and including the quality of the air that you're breathing. You know, like I had somebody on our podcast talking about the neurotoxins in brand new carpets or furniture. You know, in terms of what they're sprayed with. And the off-gassing that comes from it, and how it could have a toxic effect, you know, on your brain.
You wrote air pollution is a massive and underrated health risk. They cause up to 30% of all strokes. Life expectancy is appreciably lower in cities than in the countryside, even accounting for differences in wealth and lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, we sorted through a number of research, you know, talking about air pollution, water pollution also as well. You know, in terms of the certain residues that happens to be in whether it's in tap water or what have you, or some people are concerned about plastics that come from bottles also as well. And other people are concerned about, we've had a couple of episodes talking about EMFs, you know, just
How does that impact my brain though?
I don't think we know. You know, all I know is that the brain hasn't changed a lot in the past 100,000 years, but technology certainly has. And, you know, and we talk about, you know, these videos that we make about morning routine and evening routines and millions of views, just simple things like don't touch your phone the first 30 minutes of the day or the last 30 minutes of the day. Something so simple.
And then 7's brain protection.
Brain protection. So clean environment, even just cleaning your desktop, you know, your external world is a reflection of your internal world, or making your bed just helps you get, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Sorry, that was number 6.
Yeah, number 7 is sleep. So very concerning with sleep and brain performance. We know when you don't sleep, how's your thinking the next day? You know, how's your ability to solve problems? How's your ability to focus, remember things? When you sleep, if you have long-term memory issues, get a sleep study done. That's where you consolidate short to long-term memory is during sleep. When you sleep, the sewage system in your brain kicks in because there's, you know, energy to do so also as well. And your brain doesn't stop at night. If anything, it's sometimes in ways more active. It's consolidating short to long-term memory. It's cleaning out beta amyloid plaque that can lead to brain aging challenges. Often, a lot of the studies show that with a lot of disease, there's a kind of a sleep deficiency component also as well. Sometimes I'll wear a device to monitor it, because it's not people ask the quantity of sleep, what's the perfect amount, 7, 8, 9 hours? It's absolutely not the quantity, it's the quality of your deep sleep and your REM sleep. Your deep sleep, you can imagine, is where you're recovering your body. Your REM sleep is where you're restoring your mind. So 7 is sleep, 0 to 10, you know, how much focus, energy, attention are you putting towards it?
We've done stress management, which we talked about how stress impacts the brain. We talked about sleep there. We've talked about
novelty.
So
the last three really quickly are protect your brain, wear a helmet, 0 to, your brain's very resilient, but it's very fragile. So I get to work with a lot of sports figures that have post-concussions or TBIs, and so we have protocols for that, and obviously see a doctor. 0 to 10, rate yourself. New learnings is big. We talked about the power of learning.
Novelty.
Novelty. And for me, reading. Reading is to your mind what exercises your body. I think it's the best. People you get all fancy apps and everything else. I think, look, someone who has decades of experience, like yourself or your guests, and they put it into a book, and you can sit down and read that book in a few days, you could download decades into days. That's the biggest advantage, right? And reading is incredible exercise for your mind, especially the way we teach it. And then finally, stress management, which you mentioned, 0 to 10, how well are you mitigating stress and coping with stress? What mechanisms and tools or rituals or practices do you have?
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.